At the start of the movie, a boy and a girl are speeding on a motorcycle, pursued by two large black trucks. They emerge from the forest onto a mountain road, only to be blocked by several trucks, causing them to fall into a ravine. The girl survives, but is captured by a spider-headed man. Just as the Spider-Man is about to harm her, a figure named Translocust arrives and defeats the Spider-Man, rescuing her. In a deserted house in the forest, Takashi Hongo, the Translocust, was puzzled by changes in his body. Removing his helmet, he was shocked by his disfigured face and recalled a memory from a lab. He then saw the woman he had rescued, Ruriko Midorikawa, and asked her what had happened to him, but she remained silent. A short while later, an elderly man named Hiroshi Midorikawa arrived. He was Ruriko's father and the one responsible for transforming Hongo into a Translocust.
私が君を協力者として選び
Previously, Hiroshi and Ruriko were part of an organization called Shocker, where Hiroshi assisted in converting ordinary humans into trans beings with animal powers. Hiroshi pressed a button on Hongo's belt, causing an energy beam to emanate from Hongo's body, reverting him to his normal human form. Hiroshi explained that this was pranic energy, a constant life-sustaining force. He also mentioned that Hongo's costume, helmet, and motorcycle were all integrated to enhance his strength. Hiroshi initially thought Shocker had good intentions, but soon realized it was evil. To save Hongo from becoming a monster, he told Ruriko to take Hongo away after his transformation, believing Hongo could use his powers for good. Hiroshi, Hongo's university lecturer, felt Hongo was the right person to stop Shocker. Ruriko gave Hongo a red scarf as a symbol of truth, and Hiroshi provided a high-tech motorcycle, Cyclone. Hongo's helmet turned ordinary without pranic energy. Realizing Hiroshi's trust in him, Hongo renamed himself Cayman Ryder. Suddenly, a spider trance attacked, making Ruriko faint and trapping Hongo. The spider trance killed Hiroshi, who asked Hongo to protect Ruriko before dying. Moments later, Hongo was shocked to see Hiroshi's body dissolve into foam. The spider trance planted a bomb and took Ruriko away. Hongo escaped before the explosion and rode the Cyclone to rescue Ruriko. He caught up with the Spider Trance, defeated Shocker's troops, and fought the Spider Trance. Hongo ultimately defeats him with a Ryder kick, causing the Spider Trance to die and dissolve into foam. After Ruriko woke up, she mentioned that anyone associated with Shocker would have their bodies melt upon death. Hongo then asked why he couldn't control himself when he transformed into Kamen Rider. Ruriko explained that the helmet enhanced Hongo's survival instincts, making him more aggressive after transforming. Hongo reverted to his normal human form and apologized for not being able to save Hiroshi. Ruriko also apologized, acknowledging that she and her father had altered Hongo's body without his consent. As they walked away from the scene, Ruriko revealed that she was not Hiroshi's daughter. It turns out that Ruriko is an artificial human created by Hiroshi from his DNA. Hiroshi designed Ruriko to advance the use of prana energy. Hongo and Ruriko decided to head to Ruriko's house. On the way, Ruriko mentioned that there were still 4 more trans creatures they needed to defeat. Meanwhile, in a building, a robot named K reported to Ichiro, who was still in a cocoon box. Robot K informed Ichiro that the trans spider had been killed by the traitorous Translocust. Ichiro reassured K, saying that the newest trans creature would easily stop the Translocust. When Hongo and Ruriko arrived at her house, they stepped inside. However, they discovered that 2 strangers, Tachibana and Taki, had already infiltrated the house. Both were government agents tasked with stopping the Shocker organization. Tachibana proposed that Ruriko and Hongo cooperate with them in exchange for government protection. Ruriko then revealed that the organization was founded by a Japanese billionaire who developed an artificial intelligence named AI and an AI robot named Robot C, which was stored in a closed server system. Unlike Robot C, AI was designed to be autonomous. The billionaire's vision was for his AI to lead humanity into a future of happiness. Robot C was later upgraded to Robot K. Before committing suicide, the billionaire assigned Ian-Ki the final mission of guiding humanity to happiness. Robot AI's artificial intelligence created the Shocker organization to bring happiness to humanity through advanced technology. Ruriko and Hongo joined the anti-Shocker group with their first mission to stop the Transbats. The government had already located the nest. Ruriko decided to go alone, believing Hongo wasn't yet accustomed to his new powers. She entered the Transbat's lair, shooting at blocking robots, and soon faced the Transbats. Meanwhile, Tachibana and Taki monitored her actions via CCTV. The Transbats quickly rendered Ruriko unconscious. The Transbat, a scientist, developed a bat virus to infect humanity and spread it in the room to infect Ruriko. Tachibana and Taki saw thousands of people behaving strangely on the CCTV as they entered the Transbat headquarters. Hongo arrived to help Ruriko, who had been affected by the virus. The Transbat explained that his virus would bring happiness to humanity and eliminate evil people for a peaceful Earth. He then flapped his wings, causing thousands to die and turn into foam. The Transbat forced Hongo to surrender by threatening Ruriko. Hongo removed his helmet, becoming an ordinary human. A few moments later, Ruriko stood up, revealing that she had been pretending to be affected by the virus all along. She had rewritten the code in their bodies, so the pranic energy made them immune to the virus. Ruriko then shot the Transbat's wing as it tried to escape, and Hongo chased after it, using Cyclone's motorcycle to jump and ultimately kick the Transbat to death and turn to foam. Later that night, anti-shocker agents were deployed against the Trans-Scorpion and successfully defeated it. Tachibana and Taki informed Ruriko that the government agents had taken down the Trans-Scorpion. Their next target was the Trans-Wasp. Ruriko and Hongo walked through the city towards the Trans-Wasp headquarters, but they were followed by strangely behaving city residents. Eventually, Trans-Wasp agents picked them up and escorted them to the headquarters. Before entering, Ruriko asked Hongo to locate the Trans-Wasp's transmitter antenna. Upon arriving at the Trans-Wasp headquarters, they were greeted by the Trans-Wasp and Robot K. The Trans-Wasp and Ruriko had been friends since childhood. The Trans-Wasp was disappointed by Ruriko's betrayal of the organization. Ruriko urged her friend to leave the organization, but the Trans-Wasp refused, believing she was using her abilities to bring peace to the townspeople. The Trans-Wasp had the power to control the minds of the townspeople, making them obedient to her commands. Realizing that Ruriko could not be convinced to return, the Trans-Wasp prepared to attack her. However, Hongo quickly took Ruriko away. Taki, observing their escape without a fight, decided to take action himself. He had extracted the Trans-Scorpion's venom into a special bullet to kill the Trans-Wasp. Once the situation was safe, Hongo noticed Ruriko's eyes glowing as she worked on her laptop, indicating she was uploading programs into her brain. Ruriko was searching for a way to stop the trans-butterfly before its cocoon hatched, which would make things more difficult. Hongo suddenly asked why he didn't feel hunger or thirst. Ruriko explained it was due to prana energy, which gave him strength by absorbing life energy from those around him. This was why her father Hiroshi stopped developing trans beings, as continuing would lead to human extinction. Suddenly, a group of people, moving like zombies, approached, influenced by the Trans-Wasp. Ruriko and Hongo hurried to destroy the Trans-Wasp's brainwashing transmitter. Ruriko encountered a Trans-Wasp in her room, and Kamen Ryder destroyed the transmitter antenna, freeing the city's residents. Kamen Ryder then joined Ruriko, asking the Trans-Wasp to surrender, but she refused. She and her bodyguards attacked Hongo with swords. The Trans-Wasp absorbed her assistant's prana, transforming and attacking Hongo at high speed. Moments later, Hongo managed to throw the Trans-Wasp and jumped to kick her, but deliberately didn't kill her. Hongo and Ruriko never intended to kill the Trans-Wasp, believing she wasn't truly bad. Suddenly, Tachibana and Taki arrived, and Taki shot the Trans-Wasp with a scorpion extract bullet, killing her. In the safe house, Ruriko continued searching for ways to stop the trans-butterfly. That night, Ruriko dreamed of her brother Ichiro, the trans-butterfly, emerging from his cocoon. She woke up and warned Hongo that the trans-butterfly's awakening would be very dangerous. The next day, Tachibana and Taki showed Ruriko and Hongo the bodies of soldiers who had died without any signs of violence. Ruriko explained that their lives had been transferred to the Habitat Realm, a program created by Ichiro to house all human existence. Ichiro emerged from his cocoon and prepared the Habitat Realm to absorb humanity's pranic energy, aiming to create peace. In their hideout, Hongo asked why Ichiro wanted to do this. Ruriko revealed that Ichiro's mother was killed by criminals when he was a child. Since then, Ichiro aimed to create a world without bad people, believing that the habitat realm would bring eternal happiness. Ruriko and Hongo hurried to Ichiro's headquarters. Upon their arrival, Ichiro welcomed them. Ruriko immediately confronted Ichiro, asking him to stop blaming humanity for his mother's death. Ichiro argued that channeling humanity's prana energy into the natural habitat was a way to save humanity from its growing corruption. He also questioned Ruriko's betrayal. Ruriko responded that their father had shown her the true meaning of life, making her realize their actions were wrong. She then touched Ichiro's palm, and they both accessed their prana. Ruriko intended to awaken Ichiro. However, she failed because Ichiro was too powerful, and Ruriko eventually fainted. An enraged Hongo tried to fight Ichiro, but Ichiro summoned someone else, Ichimonji, the second and stronger translocust created by Shocker. As Ichimonji began to transform, Hongo took Ruriko and fled, with Ichimonji chasing them on Cyclone. Ichimonji eventually caught up and challenged Hongo to a fight, leaping from place to place. Meanwhile, Ruriko found a way to free someone brainwashed by Shocker. Ichimonji broke Hongo's arms and legs, leaving him helpless. Just as Ichimonji was about to finish Hongo off, Ruriko intervened, holding Ichimonji's head and restoring his memories. She successfully freed Ichimonji from Shocker's control and then approached Hongo. Suddenly, Ruriko was stabbed from behind by a trans chameleon in an invisibility suit. Seeking revenge for the trans spider's death, Ichimonji appeared and killed the trans chameleon. The injured Hongo approached Ruriko, who transferred all her prana into his helmet before dying. After some time, Hongo recovered and put on his helmet again. He sensed Ruriko's prana still present inside it. Ruriko informed him that she had discovered a way to free Ichiro from Shaker's control. Hongo then encountered Ichimonji and asked him to join the government in their fight against the Shaker organization. However, Ichimonji declined, preferring to operate independently. He intended to combat the Shaker organization on his own. Hongo also met with Tachibana and Taki, deciding to confront the trans butterfly alone. Aware of the extreme danger and potential threat to his life, Hongo left his last will and testament with Tachibana and Taki-T. Hongo ventured alone to the trans butterfly headquarters. In the tunnel, he was confronted by 11 trans locusts, monstrous creations of Shaker. Unable to avoid the confrontation, Hongo had to fight the army by himself, struggling against their numbers. Unexpectedly, Ichimonji arrived to assist him, believing that Hongo would not survive on his own. Together, they battled the trans locusts and eventually defeated them. They then hurried to Ichiro's headquarters. Upon arrival, they both attacked Ichiro, but he easily blocked their attempts. Ichiro's strength far surpassed theirs. After Ichiro advanced, Hongo and Ichimonji used the cyclone to destroy his throne, which served as his habitat and power source. Enraged, Ichiro revealed his true trans butterfly form and easily overpowered them. However, Hongo then realized that destroying Ichiro's helmet might be the key to defeating him. With renewed determination, Hongo and Ichimonji rose to face Ichiro once more. Moments later, they noticed Ichiro's pranic energy starting to deplete. Despite this, Ichiro remained difficult to defeat and broke both of Ichimonji's arms. Hongo struggled to hold Ichiro back and eventually collided with their heads, destroying both helmets. Hongo then placed his helmet on Ichiro's head. Ruriko, who was within the helmet, awakened Ichiro and urged him to transfer his prana energy into Hongo's helmet, but Ichiro refused and removed the helmet. Hongo, who was nearly out of prana energy, asked Ichimonji to carry on his fight. Eventually, both Ichiro and Hongo succumbed to their lack of prana energy. Later, Tachibana and Taki found Ichimonji alone and informed him that they had repaired Hongo's helmet and safely preserved Ruriko's prana. They requested Ichimonji's help to continue Hongo's mission to stop the Shaker organization, as they had detected the emergence of a trans cobra. Ichimonji agreed and received an upgraded costume. Additionally, Hongo's prana energy was still stored in his helmet, allowing Ichimonji to communicate with him. Ichimonji then set off with his new costume in Cyclone, and it ends here. And with that, the movie ends. We hope you enjoyed our recap. Watch our next videos on the screen. And don't forget to subscribe for more amazing recaps. See you on the next one.